What's up, Devil? Sensei Tutum with another video for you. So, gonna try to keep this at a brisk pace because I tried to record it already. It gets too long, as my videos always do. But basically, I'm gonna start out by saying, just because we did a public video last week, it went to all the free Discord members. We posted in the Discord. It's on the YouTube, but unlisted. I don't believe it got listed. More of a clerical error than anything, but all the more reason to be a Discord member for free. Just to recap what I talked about last video is, so I'm coming back to do these weekly public videos for you guys on YouTube. And I just want to, instead of just doing random assets and talking about price action, just whatever's popping at the time, I actually want to follow trades. Try to find, whether it be a trade setting up that we can show to you right live and give you the opportunity to take it, or whether it's a trade that I alerted to members earlier in the week or even earlier in the day, depending on the situation, or, that is in process. We can talk about how it's playing out, why we took it, and what we expect, or post-mortem. So last week, I actually talked about a trade that I had alerted to the members just, like 12 to 18 hours previously, and it wasn't too far past. Now, I did say at the time, you had missed your entry for that opportunity had it come up, but I explained some others. So I don't want to get too much into it. It was a bullish trade that actually took a stop in profit, because we traded for potentially having the E end here. Last week's video, we had it A, B, C, D, E. Went up 3 more waves, put an E here. So this 3 wave becomes W. Y expected down here, 1 to 1 the Y. We're getting close, damn close to target. And I won't talk too much about price action here because we're going to do gold as well. That'll be on the title. I should have said it already. You gotta, on both these charts, spoiler alert, you're gonna have to do some determination on your own whether you think the low is in. I think that we're at least in the area of a bounce, as we've already started bouncing. There's definitely reasons for a bounce, at least a dead cat bounce. And again, this is clearly a 3 wave. Gold, you'll have to make that determination. But yeah, so moving on, the trade last week was we actually, alerted to members roughly here, right at the bottom of this wick, for entry. And I actually personally took this myself. By the time we did the video, we were up in here somewhere. I said, and we'll zoom in so you can see. And I said, stop would be roughly under here. Now, I also went into all the trials and tribulations of triangles, and to summarize it, basically I said triangles will beat you up and take your lunch money. They're schoolyard bullies. Trade them at your own peril. But there's different ways, and I explained some different ways to do it. Some higher probability ways, lower probability ways. But the reason that, these lower probability trades are so alluring is because they're a binary entry that sets you up with generally a very high risk to reward. The trade we took last week was over 11 to 1. Of course, they didn't pay. Still stop in small profit. But one of the better ways to potentially trade a triangle is the retest of the trend line on the breakout. And it's just nice that I talked about that last week, and this actually offered it. And depending on the situation, this may or may not be a bigger accumulation or a bigger bounce. But it's quite nice that, boom, retest, and then on your way, right? So you can easily set up a play around that. And within the Discord with educational members, I can talk more about how I would trade a situation like that. But if you were a member last week, and I didn't alert to this because after the stop out Friday, I just didn't get my eyes back on the market until too late, because I don't just sit here and watch the market like a hawk. But if you were watching like a hawk, this was a perfect opportunity to take your small stop and profit here, and then you could re-enter on the short side there. And that's what triangles are. I mean, you get stopped out. You really do. A lot of them, and this one just happened to be in profit. A lot of the time you lose money, which is why I, typically recommend scaling down entries, because, you can afford to, you're still going to get paid quite well if you take a third of your position size, a quarter of your position size on like an 11-1 to risk to reward. But, we can talk more about that in the Discord if you want to sign up. Anyway, let's jump over to gold. This has already taken too long for me. Gold. Same as silver, very similar to silver. But one of the important things about gold is that had I had my eyes on it last week, it would have been more telling to potentially be a triangle that would break it to the downside. Just because if you look at all of this price action here relative to this price action, this doesn't fit right look for a triangle, does it? And Sensei Dave, sure, I didn't see it. I wasn't thinking about it. I had eyes on the chart, but I wasn't really considering it much. Sensei Dave had it this way. So he, hopefully he got paid on that trade. But in any event, let's see, retest of trend line, down she goes. But if you know the rules and guidelines to Elliott Wave, that's why when guys show me triangles and I say it isn't shaped well, they kind of get bent out of shape, like Tu's just being too hard on me. No, it's important because triangles are so difficult. There's no reason not to stay within guidelines, because a lot of times it's a guideline. I'm not revealing too much here. It's a guideline that you should retrace at least 55%, which we do over here, of the previous wave within a triangle. And guys want to go less than 55% all the time, and this is why you don't do that, right? So typically you expect around 786. So we didn't get that, even that close to that here. So yeah, this is why rules and guidelines are important, and a lot of people want to disregard them, but you can use. It's not just intricacies upon charts that don't benefit you financially. They do. You just have to know how to apply them, and that's what we teach here. In any event, this was a nice play down. Hopefully Dave got it. But the question now becomes: is the low of gold in? Now, same as silver. Silver, I saw what would be potentially a finish 3 wave. Here, I'm seeing more of a 5 wave, which tells me that this might be more of a dead cat bounce, potentially. And by dead cat bounce, I just mean a 3-wave reactive wave that should come around to the 382, to the 618, to the 50. Look at that, would be a retest of this trend line again before coming down. But you can't be sure because let's just say I went to the 50. So the 1-to-1 from that would take us down close to the 1-to-1 from this, which is the 50% pullback from March. It's a very high area of confluence right in here. All this former price action, price acceptance in that area. Here, we don't have much price acceptance. We do have this pivot low in the area, but this is a much stronger base of support all through here, especially right in there. Let's go zoom out a bit. Put on our volume profile. See, we're on a little bit of small high vol node here, but then once we break through, it looks like it would quickly break through this area and right into that, starting to into that area of support that I talked about. This is actually quite strong here, but again, you have your confluence down here on this smaller node. So something to consider. Now, if you are a metals bull, if you think that metals are in a bull market, 2016, 2020, if you think they're in a bull market and they remain in a bull market, currency's inflating, I don't know what you want to think. Real assets. I don't want to steer you, but most people that follow this channel are crypto people. It's an opportunity if you're a bull, right? The only question is, well, where do I get in? Well, if you're looking for a longer term investment, not a trade, then just like laddering a trade, you dollar cost average the investment. The only difference is the investment, you're not really looking to sell, whether it be on a loser or a winner for some time. Now, do I advocate doing that here? Sure, if you want. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to take care of your money, but we are at a point of confluence here. So if I was going to be laddering, this might be a spot to start. I don't think it's done here, to be clear. Silver's close to where I think it would be done. And a lot of times, well, people might say to me, students might say to me, well, look, silver looks done. Why, gold's got to be done too. Well, first of all, I don't trade one chart based upon another. Never have, never will. I always say that. I'm not smart enough to analyze silver and determine gold's future price action. I can barely figure out gold's future price action by looking at gold. So again, I'll throw it out of the window. But if I were to consider something like that, I would just say that gold's going to continue to bring silver down, if anything, right? So this would be the dominant asset in that pair, just like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, I don't know, Tron, whatever you're looking, whatever shitcoin you like in the crypto space. So if I were to I don't think it's done, but if I were to start dollar cost averaging, this would be the spot. Now, did I delete the series? I did, because I recorded this before. But basically, off this low here, we had an extension series of algos that broke here. And then we re-enter on this algo, swing high. You can either take this swing low or this swing low. Irrelevant to what we're looking at. I like this one a little better. But then at that point, you're looking, and then we broke through first target, broke through second target. You would be looking for re-entry for that algo on a swing high of this one for an extension series, which, look at that, we're right in the golden corner pocket. Or actually, we're bouncing on the 618, I'm sorry, completely of. And if that were to break, then you'd be looking from pull here, which is March low, which I told you earlier. So it's not just, it's a dominant low, which really is not a bad idea to look for algos on. But we also have a series of algos that support that there's going to be money. If they're just have their algos running, there'd be money there. Now, of course, a lot of people might turn it on and tell it to point at this. But so if this one breaks, then we have this one. So, but we do have an algo here with evidence of money in the market. Go down to the 1 hour. If we look at the 50, this would be the 50 of the extension algo. We did, we had some buying, and now at the 618, we have some buying. So there's clearly money on these pulls from an algo perspective, and doesn't mean this won't break. You might even get some short side algo action if we were to get this sort of bounce. That would then, if you look at that, second target would be down here at the high probability. First target would just be a retest of this median. Yeah, so I think that we still have potentially some downside, but we definitely have, if we're hitting branches on the way down from the tree, this is definitely a big old branch that we got to break through in order to get there. If I'm a long-term, if I'm playing long-term and I want to just hold some of this gold stuff for a while, I might start laddering right around here. Silver, same. But from an Elliott perspective, you'd have to make the determination whether you think this is a impulse or a three wave. I think it's a three wave, and I won't get into the educational purposes of why. And then you would have to say, do I think this is a finished? Because this should mirror this, right? It should be roughly the same magnitude, 1-to-1 price, roughly. That'd be the highest probability. Next highest probability is actually 618 golden ratio, which we're hitting, as well as all those other points of confluence. 618 extension of this wave, but it should also mimic it in pattern. It should be, if this is a three wave, this should be a three wave. If this is a five wave, this should be a five wave. Currently, I see 5. If this is 5, this could be done. If this is 3, more to go. But if I'm just long-term, I want to buy some gold and hold on to it. And, I want to look back in 5 years. I'll happily buy a stack here, buy a stack here. If I'm just a trader, maybe you could play it tight to the trade here. Play it tight, keep your risk safe, and go for the next algo target so let's just see what the next algo is. Shoot, I should have talked about this a long time ago. Here's the main important fact. Is there a triangle here? Is there a triangle on silver? You could always be wrong, but I'd say it looks very much like a triangle. The most important thing about the fact that this is a triangle is that if you follow Elliott at all, and, I don't mind giving away a little bit educational here. A triangle always precedes the final leg in a pattern, right? So in an impulse, it can only exist in wave 4. In a zigzag, it exists in wave B. In a multiple zigzag, it can exist in the last X. So it always precedes the final pattern. So that means that this pattern ends at the terminus of this actionary leg, which then means, especially if you're a bull, that you will continue this trend on. And, again, here's some algo targets. If we turn around here, here's some algo targets. If we got down to here, There's some more algo targets. I mean, now, is this a wave 4? We had this as a wave 4. Seems not to be at this point. Could potentially still be a wave 4, but it's awful big. So I would say from a full-on count perspective, we can probably just worry about that a little later. Because again, what's important is if this is, it doesn't matter necessarily what this is. If this is a triangle, we're going to get an actionary pattern, at least similar in magnitude out of it. At least, where's mine? At least similar in magnitude to this. So even if all you get is something like this, you'll take that, right? But if you get that, even better, right? All right, guys, that's enough time today. Covered a lot really quick, so hope you guys got some benefit from it. Toot out.